My friends, welcome to another episode of Gaston the Ginger. I'm Gaston, YouTube's favorite ginger, and today we're going to be talking about the current state of cultural affairs, specifically pertaining to the LGBTQIA+ club and child indoctrination. I'm going to be showing you some clips of Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire going on Dr. Phil and spitting some knowledge. Then I'm going to show you James Lindsay on Joe Rogan spitting some facts about how close we really are to the Maoist cultural revolution. These clips are essential, not just for you, but for you to show your friends. So watch till the end. Till the end. Till the end, do us apart. If you want to see all the stories and clips that I'm going to use for my videos before I make the videos themselves, then follow me on Twitter, Gaston the Ginger. What are you waiting for? It's a good time, I promise. I even have some good original tweets of my own. So let's begin with Matt Walsh at Dr. Phil. These clips are about 2 minutes, minute and a half long. Bear with me. They're quite interesting. Let's begin.
No construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on.
What is this? What is this? What is this guy trying to do? A psychologist would have a field day with this. A real psychologist, not one of the modern ones that we have today that it's all about affirming your gender. No, it's not. It's about treating mental illness.
As and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the realities. You can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and no matter whatever you're talking.
Those actually are my adjectives, so if you ever refer to me, you have to use those. Gaston, the handsome and brilliant ginger. Okay? And if you don't do that, I'm going to be triggered. Like, for real. I might tweet about you. And I might try to cancel you. And I might call you a white supremacist Nazi. And a Trump supporter. Ugh. I don't know which of those is worse.
Talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. Makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children, wow. You know, there's also.
Wow, indeed. No, I completely agree. I think it's a mental illness. If you speak with a real psychologist, they'll tell you, oh, no, because the definition of mental illness, it means that it has to have a negative impact in their life. I would argue that it has a negative impact on their life. Maybe not at the present moment, but in the future it will. I am 100% sure of this. But let's keep going.
Just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like, that's why when you hear a parent say, oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl. No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, oh, I'm a girl, here's a good follow-up question. What is a girl? Ask him what he means by that. What do you mean by girl? And when you ask him that, here's what he'll tell you. He will tell you what he really means is that he wants to do some of the things that girls do, like play with the dollhouse, or you know, he likes the color pink. That's fine. Play with the dollhouse.
That's fine indeed. Now, what's interesting about this, and we're going to get to it in this next clip right here, is that when you ask an adult activist like this woman man that we have in front of us, what is a woman? They can't answer. And I came across the concept all by myself. I got to this conclusion by myself. I was having a conversation with one of my female friends, and she's a very nice woman. She's heartfelt towards these trans people. She's saying, oh, but you know. So I was telling her, listen, the guy says he's now a woman. He identifies as a woman. So then I would ask them, what is a woman? If they can't answer what a woman is, then they can't identify as which they can't answer what it is. You can't identify as something that you can't define. What are you identifying as then? Matt makes a He articulates it a lot better than I do. Let's listen.
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl. Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
It is for you to say if you're claiming to identify as a woman. What are you identifying as? A woman. What is a woman? I don't know.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing. When you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone...
Your lungs are bigger. Your heart is bigger. Your body chemistry is different. Men and women are two different things. Physically, literally. You know these people love saying the word literally? Oh my God, literally? Like I was literally wasted. Okay. Literally, women and men are different.
Dies,
okay.
We could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
In their bones. The bones are different. The hip structure, it's all different. It's all different. That's why we dominate in sports compared to women. Because our bodies are so much more built for that stuff. We have bigger muscles, bigger heart capacity, bigger lung capacity. What does that mean? We can run faster and stronger for longer periods of time. We have more testosterone, helps us build muscle.
So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct,
Gotcha.
is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce.
This is one of the dumbest things this person could have said. Okay, so you can be infertile and still have the pipes, the property, the physical structure to have kids. It just doesn't work properly. So what? You still have that. Your bones are still different. Your lungs are still different. Your heart is still different. Your body chemistry is still different. Your skin is still different.
Maybe it doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
you used the word. So what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Each woman, each man.
To each their own? Okay, so it's nothing. So the word has no meaning. We can all make... I'm a woman. Because to me, a woman means a person with red hair. So I'm a woman. Maybe someone will buy me drinks tomorrow. I don't know.
Each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
That doesn't,
and so
I'm
trans women are women too.
This liberal audience just clapping for trans women are women too. Woo! Woo! Fucking seals just clap. Sheep.
You want to reduce women, you want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
You want to do is what you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
And that's exactly what that guy had on, a costume. Come dressed like a woman with long hair and a full beard. I don't even have a beard like that. Jesus, fuck. Another clip brought to us by Matt Walsh. However, he is not in this one. It was filmed undercover. Okay? A prominent trans-affirming doctor. This person is a doctor who took the Hippocratic Oath. Well, I'm not going to read it to you because I want you to hear it yourself.
Actually, people make life-altering decisions in adolescence. All the time.
So here's when someone said, isn't getting trans surgery, sex-affirming surgery, gender-affirming surgery when you're a teenager a life-altering decision? And now she's going to go on to say, yeah, but teenagers make all the life-altering decisions all the time. And most of the time, they're good.
All the time. And honestly, most of them are good. It's just the bad ones that we talk about. Oh my God, the cinnamon challenge, right? I mean, why do we know about it? because it's a thing, and it's not common. Like, most teenagers aren't eating cinnamon, right? But some are, and they're on YouTube, and that's stupid. But we don't put on YouTube the things that are really good decisions, right? Oh my gosh, my kid took the SATs. Not a very exciting after-school special, right? But so what we do know is that adolescents actually have the capacity to make a reasoned, logical decision. And here's the other thing about chest surgery. If you want breasts at a later point in your life, you can go and get them.
So she's saying adolescents make mostly good decisions. The trivial decisions about eating cinnamon that she mentioned are just as important as getting surgery, getting opened up and removing your chest, your tits, whatever you want to call them. And she said, hey, if you regret it afterwards, you just get another surgery to get fake ones. Who cares? It's not like there's any risk involved in surgery. It's not like there's going to be any psychological trauma there. Who cares? This doctor needs to look at the suicide rates among trans folk. Before, after, during. Who cares if they had the surgery or not? Look at the numbers. They kill themselves for a reason. And it's not because, people are discriminated against them. No. These people are mentally ill beforehand. And as a society, we need to help them, not enable them. Anyway, let's move on, because this is just as disturbing. From Lives of TikTok, a Wisconsin high school teacher included a link in her email signature which takes students to an LGBT resource site, including a sex toy shop for pronouns. So you can see here, Hattie Grimm, she, her, which takes you to this website, which you can buy sex toys in. Nice, sexy vibrator toys, bondage, sexy wear, accessories, lube and lotions. Very nice. Very, very nice. Finally, before we get to Joe Rogan and James Lindsay, I want to show you this clip. This clip is old. It's like, a couple years old. Not more than a decade. But it's still important today because it shows you where the leftist ideology comes from. Okay? This is what they're aiming to do. This is what they want. They want to take your kids and make them, in a way, property of the state. And, like Black Lives Matter, they want to destroy the structure of the family. Now, you may be asking, who is they? Who is they? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. The establishment? Soros-funded politicians? I don't know. But clearly, the left has a sinister ideology. Let's take a look.
Never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. Yes. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
Yeah, it's true. Kids belong to the state, actually, because state is the biggest community that we are all parts of. We're all Americans, aren't we? Sick. So, we're done with Twitter, but now it's time for what I think is the most important clip of all. James Lindsay talking about the Maoist revolution and how, well, not the Maoist revolution itself, but the Marxist thought has infiltrated America. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
It doesn't matter. It was like destroy the old culture, and they would go home and they eventually got to where they're beating their parents, they're beating...
He's talking about the Maoist revolution now, how the kids would get indoctrinated in school, then go home, beat on their parents, snitch their parents out to the state, and things like that.
Or teachers that were considered reactionaries, instead of being in favor of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. And Mao had a whole program he used in schools, and I see something so similar to that in our schools now that I'm freaking out. And what he did was he separated, listen to this, you'll see it immediately. He created 10 classes of people. 5 of them were labeled black classes, they're bad. And 5 of them, because of communism, are red, and they're good. And the I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but like the black classes were like landlord or child of landlord, right? What else would you have? Landlords, counter-revolutionaries, bad influences was one of so like that's us, because we're spreading, more bad influences. And so you had these categories, people who had lots of money, basically, people who are capitalists, especially landlords. And so those people
And that's Marxism. The capitalists are bad and they're oppressing the workers.
are bad. And if you're like the son of one of those people or connected to one of those people, they're going to tell you at school, you're like the worst kind of person. Your dad's a landlord. Your family does this. You guys are landholders. Or rich farmer was one of them. Rich farmer. It was one of them. And then they give you these red identities. Well, you can be a revolutionary. You know, you can, peasant classes, day laborers, that's one or two of the red classes because it's communism. But then, you know, you can become a revolutionary. You can join the Red Guard. You can take up these, you know, you can be a good communist. And now we'll give you like a, you know, red jacket or whatever, a red feather, I don't know, something. And you're like one of the cool kids, whereas we're going to constantly tell you how bad you are over here. Now, take out those classes like, you know, landowner or whatever and switch it out. White, straight, male, thin, fit, attractive, conventionally attractive, whatever, right? There's your black classes. So you start telling all these kids, for example, it's critical race theory stuff, or like I have this here, like race Marxism. You start showing them, you start telling them that they are part of the racist superstructure of society, basically, that they're part of the systemic racism problem.
And we've seen on this show, I've showed you many times, kids' books in elementary schools talking about white people being the devil, having deals with the devil, and oppressing black people.
So their whole identity, generationally, like your parents are white, you didn't do it, it's not your fault, but you have all this privilege, blah, blah, blah. You have these kids who are like, well, how can I have a positive identity? What do those look like? Well, you could be black, you could, or some other racial minority, you could be queer. And all of a sudden you have a pathway, a funnel.
And that's why we have so many queer kids coming up now. I have a friend whose sister's in high school. She's telling me that now like a third of her friends are all gay. They're either gay or trans identifying. And why is that? Because they want to be one of the good guys. They've been told that they are the oppressors. Their parents are their oppressors. And I want to, wait, well, I can't change my skin color, so what do? I know. I'll become queer. That way I'm part of the oppressed. It's sickening.
Into a positive identity, not gay, because that's not enough. You have to actually be queer. Like, it's not meant to be a stable, like, oh, well, I'm a guy who likes guys. The end. No. I was born this way. No. Queer theorists don't get on with that. They didn't support gay marriage. The queer theorists don't like any of that stuff. They don't want to normalize anything.
Well, what is queer then?
Queer is an identity without an essence. It's a constantly fluid identity. It can be whatever you want, as long as it's politically active against anything that's considered normal or normative.
So you can be queer and have a heterosexual relationship?
I mean, if you wanted to yell about things the right way, but mostly you're going to have to adopt something, one of these like made up genders, sexual orientations. Yeah. They even have romantic orientations, like who you're romantically attracted to instead of sexually attracted to. They got this. They're obsessives. We've said that word earlier.
Yeah.
But you give people.
All right, that's all the clip I have for you guys. How interesting is it though? How being brainwashed that you are part of the oppressor and wanting to get out of that class, you do anything. You'll identify as queer, like he said. And what is queer? Shit, I don't even know. But that's a good explanation for the rise of the LGBTQIA plus club. Everyone's gay now. All the TikTok kids are gay. It's crazy. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but everyone's gay now? Everyone's trans? Everyone's non-binary, she, her, they, them? Come on. Come on. So that's it. I hope you made it to the end. I thought these clips were quite essential. And tomorrow, we'll be back with some more videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for your time. If you liked it, subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on the Twitters, on the Minds, on the BitChutes, and all the platforms that you can find me. And that's on the Ginger. That's it. Catch you next time.